Good evening. On tonight's topic, I'm going to be speaking about John Wayne, the actor from the amazing Western movies. I don't know if anybody remembers. I remember watching John Wayne as a child um, in my grandparents' house. Um, oh, obviously, it's a Clint Eastwood and things like that. Great movies, and that made my love. Um, I don't know. It's like I love Texas and things like that. It's like one place I'd love to visit one day. It's like I love cowboys and Native Indians, and I have so much respect for Native Indians. Um, John Wayne is known as Marion Robert Morrison. He was born in May the 26th, 1907, and passed away on June the 11th, 1979, just 2 years after I was born. Known professionally as John Wayne, was an American actor nicknamed Duke. He became a popular icon through his starring roles in films which were produced during Hollywood's golden age, especially in Western and war movies. His career flourished from the silent film era of the 1920s, and a lot of films were silent and didn't have any like sounds and things like that. You just watched it as it was. Um, Through the American New Wave, as he appeared in a total of 179 film and television productions, he was among the top box office draws for 3 decades and appeared with many other important Hollywood stars of this era. In 1999, the American Film Institute selected Wayne as one of the greatest male stars of classic American cinema. And so it obviously he was born in Winster, Iowa, US, and he died in Los Angeles, California. A lot of people seem to just kind of anyway. His resting place is Pacific View Memorial Park. Obviously, his other names are Marion Michael Morrison, Duke Morrison. Obviously, studied at University of Southern California. He's an actor, a producer, and a director. He was a Republican. His spouses were Josephine Sanetis. He was married in 1933 and divorced her in 1945. And then he married a Spaniard, Boer, married in 1946 and divorced 1954. And then his last wife was Pilar Paulette, married in 1954. He'd obviously 7 children, including Michael, Patrick, and Ethan. So it's obviously quite a lot. He had a lot of children. I mean, I've got 7 children. And come next week, I'm going to have 2 grandsons, because my daughter's just is going to give birth in hospital next week. So I'm looking forward to it. More so looking forward to my 2-year-old meeting his baby brother, which I cannot wait to see his wee reaction. It's going to be so cool. Awards was Presidential Medal of Freedom, Congressional Gold Medal, Hollywood Walk of Fame. It seems to be a big thing when people get stars and things like that. So to anybody who's got it, congratulations. But Wayne was born in Winstead, Iowa, but grew up in Southern California. After losing his football scholarship to the University of Southern California due to a body surfing accident, he began working for the Fox Film Corporation. He appeared mostly in small parts, but his first leading role in Raoul Walsh's Western, The Big Trail, 1930, an early widescreen film epic that was a box office failure. He played leading roles in numerous B-movies during the 1930s, most of them also westerns, without becoming a major name. John Ford's Stagecoach, 1939, made Wayne a mainstream star, and he starred in 142 motion pictures altogether, according to biographer Ronald Davis. John Wayne personified for millions the nation's frontier heritage. It's a lot of movies, isn't it, to play in? Absolutely a lot of movies, but it's ones that he would have been able to tell his children and maybe his grandchildren. And I don't know if any of his children or his grandchildren or great grandchildren would be actors or actresses. Oh, Wayne's other roles in westerns included a cattleman driving his herd on the Chisholm Trail in Red River, 1948, a Civil War veteran whose niece is abducted by a tribe of Comanches in the Searchers, 1956. A troubled rancher competing with a lawyer, James Stewart, for a woman's hand, and the man who shot Liberty Valance in 1962. A cantankerous, one-eyed marshal in True Grit, 1969, for which he received Academy Award for Best Actor. Wayne is also remembered for his roles in The Quiet Man, 1952, with Maureen O'Hara, Rio Bravo, 1959, with Dean Martin. I remember Dean Martin in The Longest Day, 1962. In his final screen performance, he starred as an aging gunfighter suffering from cancer in The Shootist, 1976. Wayne made his last public appearance at the Academy Awards ceremony on April 9, 1979, and died of stomach cancer 2 months later. In 1980, he was posthumously awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honour of the United States. Also, it shows you a picture here of the house in Winnisford, Iowa, where he was born. It's a beautiful wee home. It's got nice yellow and red kind of flowers. I can't remember. If my gran was still, I should be able to tell me what they were. But they're nice flowers. Wayne was born Marion Robert Morrison on May 26, 1907, at 224 South 2nd Street in Winnisford, Iowa. The local paper, Winnisford Madison, reported on page 4 of the edition of May 30, 1907, that Wayne weighed 13 pounds, around 6 kilograms at birth. Oh my god. I mean, my kids were 7 pound odds, and two exactly the same, was £6.12. I couldn't imagine what pushing it. I mean, don't get me wrong, my mum's cousin gave birth to her son, and he was about 10, 11 pounds, and he was very big, and he's a big tall boy now. Wayne claimed his middle name was soon changed from Robert to Michael when his parents decided to name their next son Robert, but extensive research has found no such legal change, although it might have been changed informally or the documentation may have been lost. Wayne's legal name apparently remained Marion or Robert Morrison his entire life, although to this day his original name is always referred to Marion Michael Morrison. Wayne's father, Clyde Leonard Morrison, 1884 to 1937, was the son of Marion Mitchell Morrison, 1845 to 1915, a veteran that served in the Union Army during the American Civil War. There's a place I'm trying to remember, and a lot of people go to it, and it's the stories they tell you about the Civil War around that England. It was absolutely mental. Wayne's mother, the former Mary Molly Alberta Brown, 1885 to 1970, was from Lancaster County, Nebraska. Wayne had Scottish, Scotch, Irish, English, and Irish ancestry. His great grandfather, Robert Morrison, I wonder if he's related to my great uncle, Alec Morrison. This anyway, because my dad's cousin's kind of interested in that. I'm going to actually say to you, Osley of 1782, left County Antrim, Ireland, with his mother, arriving in New York in 1799 and eventually settling in Adams County, Ohio. The Morrisons were originally from the Isle of Lewis in the Outer Breed, Scotland. He was raised as Presbyterian. Yeah, I think these are related to, I think they're related to my Uncle Alec. I really do think they're related to my Uncle Alec Morrison. Wayne's family moved to Palmdale, California, and then in 1916 to Glendale at 404 Isabel Street, where his father worked as a pharmacist. He attended Glendale Union High School, where he performed well in both sports and academics. Wayne was part of his high school's football team and its debating team. He was also the president of the Latin Society and contributed to the school's newspaper sports column. It's obviously they've done well from something. It came from over here in Scotland, and then obviously went to America. But so well done to them. I love seeing people doing well. I think it's amazing. I mean, I'd rather see people doing well than causing trouble and things like that and try to divide people. A local fireman at the station on his route to school in Glendale started calling him Little Duke because he never went anywhere without his huge Airedale Terrier. Duke, he preferred Duke to Marion, and the nickname stuck. Wayne attended Wilson Middle School in Glendale. As a teen, he worked as an ice cream shop for a man who shot horses for Hollywood studios. He was also active as a member of the Order of Demolity, which he later inducted into the Hall of Fame. He played football for the 1924 league champion Glendale High School team. And we have here, round the corner, we have a primary school called Glendale Primary here in Scotland. Wayne applied to the US Naval Academy but was not accepted due to poor grades. Instead, he attended the University of Southern California, USC, majoring in pre-law. He was a member of the Trojan Knights and Sigma Chai fatalities. Wayne stood 6 feet and 4.5 inches, 1.94 meters tall. Also played on the USC football team under coach Howard Jones. A broken collarbone injury curtailed his athletic career. Wayne later noted that he was too terrified of Jones' reaction to reveal the actual cause of his injury was a body surfing incident. He lost his athletic scholarship, and without funds, he had to leave the university. I've heard a lot of people that have been in university and then do the football, they end up with some amount of injuries, and then they end up going on to other things, which is an absolute shame. There's a picture here showing Wayne with Marjorie Churchill in the widescreen, The Big Trail, 1930, his first role as a leading man. Early works, his first lead role. As a favour to Coach Jones, who had given silent Western film Tom Mix tickets to USC games, John Ford and Mix hired Wayne as a prop body and extra. Wayne later credited his walk, talk, and persona to his acquaintance with Wyatt Earp. How's that? Is he another actor? Who was good friends with Mix. Wayne soon moved to bit parts, establishing a long-time friendship with Ford, the director who provided most of those roles. Early in his period, he had a minor uncredited role as a guard in the 1926 film Barclays the Magnificent. Wayne also appeared with his USC teammates playing football in Brown of Harvard 1926, The Dropkick 1927, and Salute 1926, and Columbus Maker of Men, filmed in 1930, released in 1931. While working for Fox Film Corporation in bit roles, Wayne was given on-screen credit as Duke Morrison only once in Worlds of Music 1929. The amount of stuff that he's done was absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And he's obviously came from a great family. He's done well at school, and keep going, guys. Go after your dreams. And even if that one dream doesn't make him, if one door closes, another one will open. Don't give up. Don't ever give up on your dreams. Keep going, okay? Because you could be one day another John Wayne. Director Raoul Walsh saw his moving studio furniture while working as a prop boy and cast him in his first starring role in The Big Trail, 1930. For his screen name, Walsh suggested Anthony Wayne, after Revolutionary War General Mad Anthony Wayne. Fox Studios chief Winfred Sheen rejected it as sounding too Italian. Walsh then suggested John Wayne. Sheen agreed, and the name was set. Wayne was not even present for the discussion. Oh, how lovely. They changed his name, but when you're in acting and in the roles, they do change your name. It's happened so many times. I don't know if it happens now, but they did do it a lot back then. His pay was raised to £105 a week. You remember, that's a lot of money in the times. The Big Trail was to be set to be the first big budget outdoor spectacle of the sound era, made at a then staggering cost of over $2 billion, over 32.8 million equivalent in 221, using hundreds of extras and wide vestiges of the American Southwest, still largely unpopulated at the time. To take advantage of the breathtaking scenery, it was filmed in two versions, a standard of 35mm version, another in the 70mm grandeur film processor using an Novichok camera and lenses. Novus camera and lenses. Many in the audience who saw it in grandeur stood and cheered, but only a handful of theatres were equipped to show the film in this wide-screen process, and the effort was largely wasted at that time. The film was considered a huge box office flop at the time, but came to be highly regarded by modern critics. Which means it's obviously it was a great film. It's just that the screen didn't for anybody going to watch it. It couldn't take the. It's also we have a lenses on the camera, and it's like it couldn't take. It's like we can only have so much. Maybe on a phone, maybe on whatever you're filming with. And when it was on the screen, it didn't take that because obviously these Hollywood actors wanted to do bigger, better, more. I mean, a lot of films now, you get short films, and these short films do so much better than the bigger films. They spend millions or billions of pounds doing. Look at Dirty Dancing. That was a low budget film, and look, it still sells all sorts of films today. Subsequent films and breakthrough. Wayne with Evelyn McNabb and Natalie Kingston and his private secretary in 1933. And Wayne with John Rogers and Wardborne in Conflict in 1936. Also, it shows you Wayne with Marsha Hart and Born to West in 1937. I mean, he was a good-looking guy. So he was, and he was truly loved. I mean, I grew up with him, and I'm 48 now. And hopefully, other people, if they're younger, they'll be able to enjoy. Because Western movies are absolutely amazing. You've got the likes of John Wayne, Clint Eastwood, and things like that who do it amazing. It'd be amazing to see movies like this more. I mean, there is movies, but I think the likes of these actors, you've got to fill big shoes coming for John Wayne and Clint Eastwood because they're amazing, amazing actors. After the commercial failure of The Big Trail, Wayne was relegated to small roles in pictures including Columbia's The Deceiver in 1931, in which he played a corpse. He appeared in the serial The Three Musketeers in 1933. I think I watched that. My grandpa's. An updated version of the Alexandria Dominus novel in which the agnostics were soldiers in the French Foreign Legion. One of my grand's uncles went into the French Legion after they fled Lithuania, and nobody knows if he passed away or he lived or whatever, because there was no word to him after he went there. Contemporary North Africa, he played the lead with his name over the title in many low-budget poverty role westerns, mostly Monogram Pictures and series of Mascot Pictures Corporation. By Wayne's own estimation, he appeared in about 80 of these horse operas from 1930 to 1939. I mean, it's no that a lot of these films, mostly, I don't know if you just buy these ones because they were low budget, John Wayne's, but I'd like to find out because I'd like to watch them actually again. 'Cause I remember watching a couple. I can't remember the titles or anything like that because I was young. But John Wayne was a big thing. Um, it became one of the first singing cowboys of film, albeit via dubbing. Wayne also appeared in some of the Three Musketeers, the westerns, whose title was a play on the dumbest classic. He was mentored by stuntmen in riding and other western skills. Stuntman Yakima Kanatut and Wayne developed a perfect stunts and on-screen fisticuff techniques that are still in use. It's not that you need to have stuntmen because they can do the roles in the oh my god, stupid fly. That means that the actors are not getting hurt. I mean, the stuntmen are professionals. One of the main innovations with which Wayne is credited in these early poverty row westerns is allowing the good guys to fight as convincingly as the bad guys by not always making them fight clean. Wayne claimed, "Before I came along, it was standard practice that the hero must always fight clean. The heavy was allowed to hit the hero in the head with a chair or throw a kerosene lamp at him or kick him in the stomach, but the hero could only knock the villain down politely and then wait until he rose. I changed all that and I threw chairs and lamps and I fought hard and I fought dirty. I fought to win." It's not that. I think what they didn't want was the main lead getting cuts and bruises and things like that. But I think if when you're in that role, look at Johnny Depp when it came to the Caribbean movies. He changed things in that and made it work for. And look at the films; they're absolutely amazing. Wayne's second breakthrough role came with John Ford's Stagecoach, 1939. Because of Wayne's B-movie status and track record in low-budget westerns throughout the 1930s, Ford had difficulty getting financing for what was to be an A-budget film. After rejection by all major studios, Ford struck a deal with independent producer Walter Wagner, in which Claire Trevor, a much bigger star at the time, received top billing. Stagecoach was a huge critical and financial success, and Wayne became a mainstream star. Cast member Louise Platt credited Ford as saying at the time that Wayne would become the biggest star ever because of the appeal and the architectural everyman. Obviously, I'll go into other details because there's, I mean, it's more, in fact, I'll read the last wee bits of this. 1940s obviously says Wayne with Joan Blondell and Lady for the Night in 1942. Obviously, Gail Russell and Angel and the Badman 1947. Wainwright acting in a short clip from Angel and the Badman 1947. America's entry into the World War II resulted in a deluge of support for the war effort from all sectors of society, and Hollywood was no exception. Wayne was exempted from the service due to his age, 34 at the time, Pearl Harbor, and his family status classified as a 3A family deferment. Wayne was repeatedly wrote to Ford saying he wanted to enlist, on one occasion inquiring whether he could get into Ford military unit. Wayne did not attempt to prevent his reclassification as A1A just eligible, but Republic Studios was empathically resistant to losing him, since he was their only A-list actor under contract. Herbert J. Yeats, President of the Republic, threatened Wayne with a lawsuit if he walked away from his contract, and Republic Pictures intervened in the selective service process, requesting Wayne's further deferment, which means he couldn't go into the army because he was under contract and he had to actually do films, which was crazy. But I mean, I think I'd rather do the films than fight for the country, any of these countries that are purposely causing these wars. US National Archives records indicate that Wayne, in fact, did make an application to serve in the Office of Strategic Services, OSS, persecutor to the modern CIA, but his bid was ultimately unsuccessful. Wayne toured US bases and hospitals in the South Pacific for 3 months in 1943 and 1944, and with the United Service Organization USO. During the trip, he carried out a request from William J. Donovan, head of the OSS, to assess whether General Douglas MacArthur, commander of the Southern West Pacific area, or the staff were hindering the work of the OSS. Donovan later issued Wayne an OSS certificate of service to minimise Wayne's contribution to the OSS mission. By many accounts, his failure to serve in the military later became the most painful part of his life. His widow later suggested that his patriotism in later decades sprang from guilt, writing he would become a super patriot for the rest of his life, trying to atone for staying at home. He wanted to serve for his country and wasn't allowed because Hollywood wouldn't allow it. Which, think about if that was today, it would still happen. Wayne's first colour film was The Shepherd of the Hills, 1941, in which he co-starred with longtime friend Harry Carey. The following year, he appeared in his only film directed by Cecil B. DeMille, the Technicolor epic Reap the Wild Wind, 1942, in which he co-starred with 3 Million and Paulette Goddard. It was one of the rare times he played a character with questionable values. I mean, it was clear that he was an amazing actor, and like most actors, it's not until they pass away that it becomes people love them more, which is sad. Are the most valuable. Like most Hollywood stars, either Wayne appeared as a guest on radio programs such as the Hedda Hooper Show and the Llewellyn Parsons Show. He made a number of appearances in dramatic roles, mainly recreations for radio of his own film roles on such programs as Screen Directors Playhouse and Lux Radio Theatre. For 6 months in 1942, Wayne starred in his own radio adventure series, 3 Sheets to the Wind, produced by film director T. Garnett. In the series, an international spy or detective show, Wayne played Dan O'Brien, a detective who used alcoholism as a mask for his investigatory endeavours. The show was intended by Garnett to be a pilot of sorts for a film version, though the motion picture never came to fruition. No episodes of the series featuring Wayne seem to have survived. That's a shame. Though a demonstration episode with Brian Donlevy in the leading roles does exist. Wayne not Donlevy played the role throughout the series run on NBC. Director Robert Rossen offered to Wayne the starring role in All the King's Men in 1949, but Wayne refused, believing the script to be un-American in many ways. Broderick Crawford, who was eventually cast in the role, won the 1949 Oscar for Best Actor, ironically beating out Wayne, who had been nominated for The Sands of Io Jama 1949. Well, I'll leave it there, and because there is loads, and read, I'll come back to this and read more. So, send a loving light, and good night.